In the year 2000, two men walked into a meeting that would change the entertainment industry forever. One of them ran a struggling little DVD buy mail company out of California. He had 300,000 customers, mounting debt, and an idea that most people thought was ridiculous. The other man ran the most powerful video rental empire on the planet. 9,000 stores, 60,000 employees, $6 billion in annual revenue. The struggling startup asked the empire to buy them for $50 million. The empire laughed them out of the room. That startup was Netflix, and that empire, you already know what happened to it. But here's what nobody tells you. Blockbuster didn't just make one mistake. They made the same mistake 6 times and ignored every single warning sign along the way. This is the full story. To understand how Blockbuster fell, you first have to understand how powerful they really were. At its peak in 2004, Blockbuster was not just a video store, it was a cultural institution. Friday night meant one thing in America: loading the kids into the car, driving to the blue and yellow storefront, and spending 45 minutes arguing about what to watch. They had 9,000 locations across the United States alone. They were in every suburb, every shopping mall, every small town. There were more Blockbuster stores in America than McDonald's restaurants in most countries, and they made money in a way that customers hated but couldn't escape: late fees. If you returned a movie one day late, Blockbuster charged you. Return it a week late, you might as well have bought the movie. In 2000, Blockbuster collected over $800 million in late fee revenue alone. That's not a side income. That was nearly a quarter of their total business. Their CEO, John Antioco, knew this was unpopular. But when you're making $800 million a year from something people hate, it's very hard to stop. That blind spot, prioritizing short-term revenue over customer experience, would become the crack that eventually swallowed the entire company. In the spring of the year 2000, Reed Hastings, the co-founder of Netflix, flew to Dallas. Netflix at this point was 3 years old and hemorrhaging money. They were losing tens of millions of dollars. The dot-com bubble was bursting around them. Hastings needed a lifeline. His pitch to Blockbuster was simple: buy us for $50 million and we'll run your online division. You have the stores, the brand, the customers. We have the technology. Together, we can own the future of home entertainment. John Antioco, Blockbuster's CEO, reportedly laughed. To him, the idea was absurd. Why would the largest video rental company in the world, a company with $6 billion in revenue, spend $50 million on a tiny website that mailed DVDs in red envelopes? The Netflix team left the meeting without a deal. And here is where the story gets painful. Because Antioco wasn't entirely wrong. In the year 2000, Netflix was genuinely struggling. Their business model wasn't clearly working yet. If Blockbuster had bought them and shut them down, history might have been completely different. But Antioco didn't just say no to the deal. He said no to the idea. And that distinction between rejecting a transaction and dismissing a concept is what separates a strategic mistake from a catastrophic one. Over the next decade, Blockbuster received not 1, not 2, but 6 clear warning signs that their world was changing. Warning 1, 2002. Netflix introduces unlimited DVD rentals for a flat monthly fee, with no late charges. Customers immediately notice that Netflix doesn't punish them for being busy. Blockbuster does nothing. Warning 2, 2003. Netflix passes 1 million subscribers. Their model is clearly working. Their customer satisfaction scores are through the roof. Blockbuster's leadership calls it a niche product for early adopters. They do nothing. Warning 3, 2004. Blockbuster finally launches their own online DVD service. For one brief moment, they have a chance. Their new head of digital understands what's happening. He pushes to eliminate late fees to compete directly with Netflix's frictionless model. Antioco agrees. In 2005, Blockbuster announces the end of late fees. Customers celebrate. Subscriptions spike dramatically. For the first time, Blockbuster is genuinely threatening Netflix, but then the board panics. Warning 4, 2005. Carl Icahn, a famous activist investor, buys a large stake in Blockbuster and immediately begins pushing to restore late fees. The fee elimination, he argues, is costing the company $400 million. The board sides with Icahn. Late fees return, and the progress evaporates. Warning 5, 2007. A small startup called Redbox begins placing DVD kiosks in grocery stores and McDonald's restaurants, $1 per rental. Blockbuster dismisses them as a novelty. Within 5 years, Redbox would have over 35,000 kiosks nationwide. That same year, Netflix launches streaming video. It's limited. The picture quality isn't great, but the direction is unmistakable. Video is moving online. Blockbuster's board fires John Antioco and cuts the digital budget. Warning 6, 2008. The global financial crisis hits. Blockbuster is carrying over $1 billion in debt. They have 9,000 stores with long-term leases. Each location costs money every single month, whether customers walk in or not. Their physical empire had become a physical trap. By 2009, it was already over. Even if Blockbuster hadn't admitted it yet, Netflix had 12 million subscribers. Blockbuster had fewer than 3 million on their online service. Streaming was growing faster than anyone had predicted. And Blockbuster's stores, once their greatest asset, had become their greatest liability. In September 2010, Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy. At auction, the entire company, 9,000 stores, 60 years of brand recognition, the name that millions of families had grown up with, sold for $320 million. 3 years earlier, Netflix had offered to be bought for $50 million. Now, Blockbuster's entire remaining value was only 6 times that. The math is brutal. Over the next 4 years, every remaining Blockbuster store closed. The last to go were in Alaska. By 2019, only one location remained. In Bend, Oregon, kept alive by its local community almost as a museum, a monument to a world that no longer existed. That single store in Bend still operates today. It has become a tourist attraction. People drive hours to take a photo inside it, to remember what Friday nights used to feel like. Meanwhile, Netflix is worth approximately $280 billion. So why did this happen? Was their management truly to blame? The uncomfortable truth is this: no, they were not. The uncomfortable truth is no. Blockbuster's leaders were intelligent, experienced business people. They had access to the same information as everyone else. They could see Netflix growing. They tried to respond, at least twice. What destroyed Blockbuster was something much more common and much more dangerous than ignorance. It was the innovator's dilemma. When you are the dominant player in an industry, every decision that threatens your current revenue feels irresponsible. Killing late fees costs $400 million today, even if it saves the company tomorrow. Investing in streaming cannibalizes your stores, even if the stores are already dying. The rational short-term decision and the correct long-term decision are almost never the same thing. Blockbuster chose the short term 6 times. And here is what makes this story relevant today. Because this exact pattern is repeating right now, in industry after industry. Newspapers ignored online advertising until it was too late. Taxi companies fought ride-sharing apps instead of adapting. Traditional retail built more stores. While e-commerce was doubling every year, the question is never, is this new thing real? The question is always, can we afford to wait and find out? Blockbuster waited. And the answer, as it turns out, was no. If this story taught you something you didn't know or made you see a business you know differently, share this video with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to see the next company that's making the exact same mistakes Blockbuster made, the industry that's ignoring its Netflix moment right now, that video is coming next week. Subscribe so you don't miss it. I'll see you there.